militam yena tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshthaya Bhutale Srimate Radhanatha Swami Niti Namine. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshthaya Bhutale Srimate Jayapataka Swami Niti Namine. Nama Acharya Padaya Nitai Kripa Pradayine Gaura Katha Dhamadaya Nagara Grama Tarine. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna. We welcome all of our YouTube live listeners, our listeners over Facebook Live, and our listeners over Zoom. Welcome to all of you to this day 6 of Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu's South India Yatra.
Can we have the slideshow, please? On Friday, I believe, we visited, or Saturday for India, the Sri Padmanabh Swami Temple. We had the darshan of Janardhan Swami Temple, Sringeri Mutt, and Udupi Krishna, Muthu Krishna, Baby Krishna, very cute, beautiful. And then we heard the glories of Srila Madhvacharya. Today, we will continue from Udupi and we'll go to Pancapsara Tirtha, Gokarna, Lord Chaitanya. Then from there, he went to Dvaipayani, then to Kolhapur. He's entering into Maharashtra. From there, Lord Chaitanya went to Pandharpur. And then a place called Sūrpāraka. And Srila Prabhupada said this Sūrpāraka is actually modern day Sopara. And that is there in Thane, Mumbai. Then from there, Lord Chaitanya went to Nasik, Trayambakeshwar temple. So today we will go to all these different places of Lord Chaitanya's journey. Next slide, please. So this is the path that we will be traversing, which Lord Chaitanya traversed.
Today especially.
Today, yeah. Basically, he went all the way, if you see on the other side, on the east coast of Orissa, and from there he has come. Now, from Udupi, he is going to Gokarna. From Gokarna, he will go to Kolhapur, to Pandharpur, to Mumbai, and then to Trayambakeshwar, Nasik, on his way to Dwarka. Next slide, please.
So today, the first place that we visit is called as the Pancapsara Tirtha. So it is said in the Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita in Madhya Leela in chapter 9, in text 279, Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami says, Tritakupe Vishalara Kori Darashan Pancapsara Tirthe Aila Shochiranandan. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the son of Mother Shachi, went to this place known as the Pancapsara Tirtha. Srila Prabhupada describes it in the purport. Srila Prabhupada says that the Apsaras, they are the denizens of the heavenly planets and are generally, they are the dancing girls from the heavenly abode. So the girls are in the heavenly abode are exquisitely beautiful. And if a woman on earth is found to be very, very beautiful, Srila Prabhupada says that she's often said to be like an Apsara. It's compared to an Apsara. So there were 5 Apsaras. This Panca means 5, Apsara, Tirtha. So these 5 Apsaras who were named as Lata, Budbuda, Samichi, Saurabheyi, and Varna. So these are the 5 Apsaras: Lata, Budbuda, Samichi, Saurabheyi, and Varna. That these 5 beautiful Apsaras were sent by Indra, the king of the heavens. And they were sent by Indra in order to break the severe austerity of a saintly person called as Achyuta Rishi. This great sage Achyuta, he was performing great penance and austerities. And Indra, he always gets disturbed when anyone performs any austerities. He feels that, oh, they are performing austerities, it's probably for my throne. So he always feels endangered for his throne. And whenever he feels endangered for his throne, Srila Prabhupada writes that Indra sends these apsaras to destroy the austerities of that saintly person. So because Indra was so fearful that he would lose his heavenly kingdom, so as soon as he saw that this Achyuta Rishi, he is performing tapasya, he sent these 5 dancing apsaras to distract him. And when these 5 apsaras came to Achyuta Rishi to break his meditation, they were very much chastised by Achyuta Rishi, and they were cursed by the saint. The great saint cursed them. And as a result of that curse, there was this pond, this tirtha, this pond where, by the curse of that great sage, the apsaras turned into crocodiles. So there were 5 crocodiles living in this tirtha. And as a result, this place came to be known as Pancapsara Tirtha. But then it is said that Sri Narad Muni explains that when Arjuna, when he was on the 1 year alone, he was wandering around this different states of India after, Indraprastha was acquired, before the war of Kurukshetra, when Arjun alone had set out, because there was an arrangement by the Pandavas that whenever Draupadi is with any of the brothers, the other brother should not enter. So one time Arjuna, Draupadi was with Maharaj Yudhishthir, and there was a citizen who came to seek Arjuna's help. And Arjuna's bow, the Gandiva bow, was in Draupadi's chambers. But Draupadi was not alone, but this citizen needed help. So he came to Arjuna, and Arjuna said, I have to help this person. So Arjuna came into that chambers when Draupadi was with Maharaj Yudhishthir. And although Maharaj Yudhishthir and Draupadi themselves, they did not mind, but still Arjuna, as a punishment, he actually he said, I will take a 1 year exile, and he will do this as a prayashchitta, as a penance that, for the mistake that he had committed. So then Arjuna, he went around, but this was also a plan of Krishna. You see, anything that happens in the life of a devotee is never without the plan of Krishna. Maharaj Yudhishthir's kingdom needed to be expanded. So Arjuna utilized this 1 year to make Maitri Sambandha, means a nice, family kind of relationship with all the states. So wherever Arjuna went, he married the princess of that state or of that city. And then he established a very nice, Sambandha relationship with that particular kingdom. So automatically, when the marital relationship is made, an Kshatriya can marry any number of times. So he would marry the princesses, and he would, keep the princesses in that city itself, but that city would automatically become loyal to the Pandavas. So this was the ultimate plan. And then this way, it is said that Narad Muni explains that Arjuna came to this particular tirtha, and Arjuna learned that, the Apsaras were cursed to be crocodiles. And it's said that Arjuna actually delivered the crocodiles from their abominable condition. And from that day, it is said that this tirtha, this lake, came to be known as Pancapsara Tirtha, that by the grace of Arjuna, the pure devotee of Krishna, those Apsaras were liberated. You see, Arjuna had a special connection with the Apsaras, the heavenly kingdom. So therefore he could liberate these 5 Apsaras. And, that's how this place became a Tirtha. It is said that Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu, he bathed here in this Tirtha. So let us take water from this Tirtha and put on our heads and continue on towards our next destination.
So from Pancapsara Tirtha, next slide please, we go to Gokarna. Gokarna is situated in the North Karnataka. It's about 33 miles from Karwar, and very famous for a temple of Lord Shiva known as Mahabaleshwar. Next slide please. Now this is not Mahabaleshwaram, which is a hill station in Maharashtra. This is Mahabaleshwar temple in Gokarna. Many times people get confused. Oh, this is Mahabaleshwaram? No, it's not that. So Sri Mahabaleshwar ki jai. This is Lord Shiva. We can see how Lord Chaitanya would honor the Param Vaishnava, Lord Shiva, by going to visiting his different temples. Next slide, please. There are hundreds and thousands of pilgrims. They come to see this Sri Mahabaleshwar temple, very famous in Gokarna. Next slide, please. Sri Mahabaleshwar ki jai. This is the deity of Lord Mahabaleshwara, Lord Shiva, which Lord Chaitanya personally had darshan and paid respects to. So we pay respects here to Lord Shiva, Mahabaleshwara, to please engage us, keep us engaged in Srila Prabhupada's movement, Srila Prabhupada's service, and allow us to follow and spread Srila Prabhupada's teachings for the pleasure of all the Gaudiya Vaishnavas and ISKCON Guru Vrinda. Next slide, please.
From here, Lord Chaitanya, he came to this place called as Dvaipayani. Dvaipayani is this small kind of a lake. It is said where Duryodhana, he hid here right after the battle of Kurukshetra. On the last day, it is said that when Duryodhana was left completely alone, and at that time, Duryodhana is said to have hidden in this lake, which came to be known as Sri Brahma Sarovar. We'll come to that. But here, on the banks of this river, Krishna, along with the Pandavas, came. And next slide, please. And this was where Bhima and Duryodhana had their last fight. The last fight of Kurukshetra, the battle of Kurukshetra, where Bhima, when he broke the thighs of Duryodhana, you can see here. This was the last fight that happened in the battle of Kurukshetra. And this happened here in this place called as Dvaipayani. And next slide, please. There it is currently, there is a beautiful sarovar here, which is called as Brahma Sarovar. We can see that here. This is Brahma Sarovar at Dvaipayani. It is right very near to this Gokarna that Mahaprabhu visited this particular place. So here is where the last scene of the battle of Kurukshetra, the killing of Duryodhana, happened here. And Krishna himself was here. Mahaprabhu came here. He took a bath in this Brahma Sarovar, and he sprinkled let us all sprinkle the waters of Brahma Sarovar on our heads and, continue on to our next destination.
So Lord Chaitanya from Dvaipayani, next slide, please. From Dvaipayani, he went to Kolhapur, now entering Maharashtra. Kolhapur is the city of temples, and it is very famous for the Mahalakshmi temple. Next slide, please. Mahalakshmi, she settled in Kolhapur when Lord Mahavishnu was insulted by Bhrigu Rishi, and at that time when Bhrigu Muni kicked Lord Vishnu on his chest, Vishnu, he came and was concerned for Bhrigu Muni. My dear Rishi, your soft lotus feet, is it okay? My chest is very hard. When you kicked, your feet must have hurt. I'm so sorry for that. And hearing this, Bhrigu Muni was testing who is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Because of this response of Lord Vishnu, he understood this is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And so, but then on the chest of Vishnu lies Mahalakshmi. And she did not like this. And therefore, she cursed all the Brahmanas that I will never come to you. So, Brahmanas are traditionally not very wealthy.
Daridra Brahman.
But they are very wealthy in devotion to Lord Vishnu. And wherever Vishnu is, Mahalakshmi is. But she doesn't come to Brahmanas just on their own. But then, in order to, Mahavishnu, at that time, Lord came down as Lord Venkatesh in Tirupati. And Mahalakshmi, she performed penance in Kolhapur, Shakti Peeth. Next slide, please. This is the wonderful darshan of Shri Mahalakshmi Devi ki jai. And then Mahalakshmi Devi, very, very opulently, she's dressed. In one place, I read in a WhatsApp message, next slide, please, that each dress of Mahalakshmi Devi is 17 crore rupees to sponsor. So that's a lot of Lakshmi. You can understand how opulent this temple is and how opulent the deity is. And so this is the place where Mahalakshmi, she performed penance in Kolhapur. Shri Mahalakshmi Devi ki jai. We pray to her to please give us pure devotion to the lotus feet of Lord Shri Krishna.
Just like how Mahalakshmi Devi, when her husband was insulted, she just left even Vaikuntha. She left Vaikuntha and she came to Kolhapur to perform penances and to get back, of course, her husband. And when she came, even Lord Vishnu, he said, even I can't live without Mahalakshmi Devi. So he also came to, in Tirupati, in Tirumala Hills, and he also started performing penances as Sri Venkateshwara. And then both of them eventually again got married. So just like how Mahalakshmi Devi, she's so chaste to her husband, we pray to Mahalakshmi Devi that please let us, may she allow us to be chaste to Srila Prabhupada and to our Guru Vargas, and may we continue to serve in utter chastity by following the principles in this movement. Jai Shri Mahalakshmi Devi ki jai. Next slide, please.
So from Kolhapur, Lord Chaitanya then came to Pandharpur. Tatha hoite Pandharpure aila Gaura Chandra Vithala Thakura dekhi paila Ananda. This ki jai. This is the banks of Chandrabhaga River. And this Chandrabhaga River on the banks is the temple of Lord Vitthaladev. This is Sri Pandharpur. In 1996, I believe we had gone on a yatra to Pandharpur. It was an amazing experience. There is also ISKCON Pandharpur. I believe it is undergoing, due to some recent floods, there was a lot of damage to that temple, and there was a request to help the ISKCON Pandharpur temple. So if any of you can, please do that. For Lord Chaitanya visited here, he had darshan of Vitthaladev, and in his mission of Srila Prabhupada and Lord Chaitanya, ISKCON Pandharpur is also spreading the mission of Lord Chaitanya here. So please help as much as you can.
And one of our Guru Vargas, very, very, one of the most beautiful kirtaniers of our movement, His Holiness Srila Lokanath Swami Maharaj. This is his, Janma Pitha, his appearance place, and the village that Maharaj belongs to. So this is a very, very special place for all ISKCON devotees. And So yes, please let us. Mahaprabhu actually spent, generally Mahaprabhu would spend just a night or 2 nights maximum in each place. But here in Pandharpur, Mahaprabhu stayed for around 2 weeks. So little over 2 weeks, Mahaprabhu stayed here, and we will find out why Mahaprabhu stayed here for that long here at Pandharpur.
So the translation of the verse that I had spoken was from Kolhapur, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went to Pandharpur, where he happily saw the temple of Vittala Thakur. Again, this city is on the river Bhima, but also the river Chandrabhaga. And next slide, please. Here, there is 5,000-year-old self-manifested deity of Lord Vittala, blackish complexion deity of Sri Vittala. He's 3.5 feet tall, along with his consort Sri Rukmini. He is called Vittala because he stands on a brick. In Marathi, brick is called Veet or eat. So he stands on a wheat with his hands resting on his hips. There is a beautiful pastime of the appearance of Lord Vittala Dev. Shri Shri Rukmini Panduranga Vittala ki jai.
Very beautiful deity, and he is so amazing. He is actually the fulfiller of all desires, and he's extremely compassionate to his devotees. Vithala is very, very compassionate to his devotees. It is said that once upon a time there was a devotee named Pundalik who was traveling to Kashi, and on the way he reached the ashram of a particular saint. And then when Pundalik asked the saint that, I want to go to Kashi, can you please tell me how to go to Kashi? And the saint said, I don't know how to go to Kashi. And hearing this, Pundalik actually made fun of the sage, saying that, oh, you don't know, you're such a great sage, you don't know how to go to Kashi. So, and a holy man like you have not visited Kashi. So then that night, Pundalik actually stayed in the house of that sage. And then suddenly he woke from his dream and he saw, no, sorry, he woke from his sleep and he actually saw three wonderful, goddesses, three women who were sprinkling water in the ashram of that sage, and they were cleaning that ashram. And Pundalik said, my dear ladies, who are you in the middle of the night? You're cleaning this ashram. Who are you? And the ladies said that we are Ganga, Yamuna, and Saraswati, the holy rivers. And we have come because this sage, this ashram that you're staying, he is, such a great sage that we have come to serve him, that this is the way we want to serve him. So Pundalik was very, very surprised that how come, the three holy rivers of India, they are coming and serving this Rishi. How come? So then the three women told Pundalik that, piousness, spirituality, and devotion doesn't depend on visiting holy places, but rather it depends on, performing one's duties properly and serving everyone with love and devotion. And this sage, he had great devotion to his parents. He had great devotion to his, elderly people. So because he served them so nicely and gave everyone he met, he gave them love of Krishna so wonderfully, although he didn't visit any holy place, but because he served so nicely, we, the holy places, have come to him. This is the glory of a pure devotee. So hearing this, Pundalik was extremely shocked. And he just, he said, no, I have to, I have disregarded serving my elders, serving my parents. So let me go back to my village and I want to serve my parents. I want to serve my elders and make them happy. So Pundalik immediately came to his village and he served his ailing parents very, very wonderfully. And he actually started distributing the message of Krishna to each and every one that he would meet. He would sing praises of Krishna in his entire village, and the entire village got transformed into pure devotees of Krishna because of this one person, Pundalik. And it is said, next slide please, that Krishna became so moved by the devotion of Pundalik that he came to visit Pundalik. And at that time, Pundalik was massaging his parents. He was massaging his parents' lotus feet. And then when there was a knock on the door, he said, Pundalik, this is Krishna. I have come to see you. And Pundalik said, wait, my lord, please wait. I am not disrespecting you, but you see, my parents are about to sleep. So here, on this brick, I'm giving you this brick as a welcome. So you stand over here, just wait, let them sleep. I will come and serve you. So then Lord Krishna was so moved by this devotion that he stood at the door with this, like this, in the waiting position. That's why both his hands are on his hips. He said, okay, I will wait for you, my dear devotee. So it's a very sweet, next slide, please. So that was in black and white. This is the same thing on color, that Pundalik is saying, please wait, let me serve my parents. And he made Krishna stand on a brick. That Krishna, I'm welcoming you, but please let me finish serving my mother and father, and then I will come and serve you. So as soon as his parents fell asleep, Krishna, who was waiting at the door, Pundalik, came to Krishna, and he begged for forgiveness from the Lord, that my dear Lord, please forgive me that I made you wait. And you tell me, my dear Lord, what can I do for you? How can I serve you? So then Krishna said, my dear Pundalik, I have come to serve you. What can I do for you? And then Pundalik said, my Lord, you have waited for me. What else can I ask? So therefore, I request you, my dear Lord, that you please wait on the people of this earth also. Give your mercy that you manifest in this form, so that the people of this earth can relate to you, that how personal you are, how amazing you are, how wonderful you are, how you reciprocate so lovingly with your devotees. My dear Lord, you please manifest yourself in this form. So hearing to this beautiful plea of Pundalik, the Lord said, okay, I will manifest as Vitthala. Wheat, as Prabhu said, wheat in Marathi means brick, and Vitthala, Panduranga, means the Lord who is standing on the brick, and he manifested himself in that way.
Jai Shri Vithoba Panduranga Vitthala ki Jai. Next slide, please. We pray to here, actually, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He also came here and to this temple, and he danced in ecstasy, seeing Vitthala in front of Lord Vitthala in Pandharpur Temple. And so we pray to Lord Vitthala to grant us devotion to the lotus feet of Lord Chaitanya, and allow us to serve our elders and devotees and perform service to the Vaishnavas. Lord Vitthala is waiting when we serve the devotees of the Lord, when we perform Vaishnav Seva and to our elders. Next slide, please. So it is said that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he initiated Tukaram when he visited Pandharpur here. And so Tukaram became the disciple of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. This is the parampara of Saint Tukaram. Tukaram Acharya, he became very, very famous in Maharashtra. He spread the Sankirtan movement of Lord Chaitanya all over the province. Next slide, please. In fact, the Sankirtan party belonging to Tukaram is still very popular in Mumbai, throughout Maharashtra. In the when we were small and we used to go in the Mumbai local trains, we could see people for hours. There'll be parties who will be just chanting different abhanga of Saint Tukaram in devotion to Lord Vitthala. Tukaram's book, it's actually known as Abhanga, And if you see his Sankirtan party, next slide, please. Tukaram's Sankirtan party exactly resembles the Gaudiya Vaishnava Sankirtan parties of Lord Chaitanya. For they chant the holy name of the Lord with mridanga and kartals also. If you see Lord Chaitanya is dancing with mridanga and kartals, and on the right hand side, Tukaram, his Sankirtan party also is a mridanga player there. There's a kartal player. There are many other instruments just glorifying the Lord. This Lord Vittaladev, who is mentioned in this verse, is actually a form of Lord Vishnu with two hands. He is Narayana himself.
Self-manifested deity.
Next slide, please. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, it said in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, he danced and chanted in various ways, and then a Brahmana, he saw him in ecstatic love. He was very pleased. He invited the Lord to his home for lunch. Actually, we can go to the previous slide. And this Brahmana, he offered Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu food with great respect and love. And after Lord finished his lunch, the Lord received an auspicious news. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu received word that Sri Rangapuri, one of the disciples of Sri Madhavendra Puri, was present in that village at the home of a Brahmana. Next slide, please. At this place, Sri Rangapuri, the disciple of Madhavendra Puri. Now, if you see, Sri Madhavendra Puri was a sannyasi in the line of Madhvacharya. But generally, we saw Madhvacharya, Udupi, Krishna, they have Vatsalyaras. Sri Madhavendra Puri was the first Acharya in the Madhva line who was revealed the Madhurya Ras. And from Madhvacharya, Madhurya Ras was revealed, which was then given to Srila Ishwara Puri, who was the disciple of Madhavendra Puri, and Ishwara Puri became the guru of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So Madhavendra Puri was the grand spiritual master of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And the spiritual master of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was Ishwara Puri, whose god brother was Sri Rangapuri. So it's like our spiritual master's god brother, spiritual uncle. So Sri Rangapuri was the spiritual uncle of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, "What? Sri Rangapuri, my spiritual uncle, he is here in the home of a village?" Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu immediately went to see Sri Rangapuri at this Brahmana's home. And upon entering the home, he was ecstatic to see Sri Rangapuri sitting there. As soon as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu saw Sri Rangapuri, he immediately offered his obeisances, ecstatic love. No, let's keep previous slide. Falling flat on the ground, and all the symptoms of transcendental transformations and ecstasy were visible. Tears, jubilation, trembling, perspiration, all at the same time. When Sri Rangapuri saw Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in such an ecstatic mood, he said, "Your Holiness, please get up. Your Holiness is certainly related to Sri Madhavendra Puri, without whom there is no fragrance of ecstatic love, because Sri Madhavendra Puri was the first one to be revealed, the Madhurya Ras." So Sri Rangapuri understood this sannyasi must be in the line of Madhavendra Puri.
And this is the qualification, that when we sincerely follow our acharyas, just by looking at us, the acharyas are able to tell whose line we are from. Just like how, just by looking at, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Sri Rangapuri was able to say that you belong to the line of Sri Madhavendra Puri. This is the, the symptom of a person who is a perfect disciple.
Then Sri Rangapuri lifted Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and embraced him. Shoulder to shoulder, they both began to cry in ecstasy. And then, after some time, they came to their senses. And Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu informed Sri Rangapuri about his relationship with Ishwara Puri. And both of them, wow, Ishwara Puri, he's my wonderful god brother. He served Sri Madhavendra Puri, my spiritual master, at the end of his life with such devotion. Example of how a disciple should be. And you, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, are his disciple. And they sat down and they respectfully began to converse. And for 5 to 7 days continuously, they were discussing about the topics of Lord Krishna. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Sri Rangapuri so absorbed in hearing and chanting about the Lord.
Then out of curiosity, Sri Rangapuri, he asked Mahaprabhu, my dear Mahaprabhu, tell me, from, where is your birthplace? Where do you come from? And Lord Chaitanya, very humbly, he said, I come from Navadvip Dham. And Sri Rangapuri, very, contemplatingly, he said, I had gone to Navadvip Dham along with my Guru Maharaj, Srila Madhavendra Puri. And I remember that I visited the house of a very wonderful Brahmana. And he said that Rangapuri was remembering all this, and he said that that Brahmana, I will never forget that Brahmana. His name was Sri Jagannath Mishra. And he was such a wonderful Brahmana. And he had such a glorious wife, Mother Shachi. Mother Shachi was like the mother of the universe. Me and my Guru Maharaj, myself and Madhavendra Puri, we were sannyasis and we just came to their home. But Mother Shachi, she, like the mother of the universe, she took care of us. Just like a mother would take care of her children. She took care of us. And she served us so nicely that I still remember one of the preparations that Mother Shachi had made.
It was called mocha, the curry made up of banana flour sabji. Next slide. Then he also remembered how she was so expert in cooking. Sachi Mata was so expert in cooking. How she was so affectionate, like a mother towards the sannyasis, and would just feed like her own sons. Then he said, I also remember one of her very illustrious, deserving sons. He had accepted the renounced order at the very young age. His name was Shankar Aranya. And then Sri Rangapuri informed Gauranga Mahaprabhu that this sannyasi named Shankar Aranya, he had attained perfection in that holy place, Pandharpura. In this particular holy place, Pandharpura. This Shankar Aranya is none other than Vishwarupa, Lord Chaitanya's brother, who entered the spiritual world after giving up his mortal body at Pandharpur. Lord Chaitanya, he had started, if you remember, one of the reasons that he gave to Nityananda Prabhu to go for South India Yatra, because Nityananda Prabhu said, my Lord, you can be happy in Jagannath Puri. Why are you traveling to South India? I mean, for what purpose? And one of his purposes was to spread the glories of the holy name all over India. But also, one of the purposes he told, I want to search for my elder brother Vishwarupa. I have heard that he has gone, he's visiting all over India, and he's in South India now. So then Sri Rangapuri, who is the disciple of Sri Madhavendra Puri and god brother of Ishwara Puri, disclosed, yes, your brother Shankar Aranya Swami Vishwarupa was here with me. And he just recently left his body to the mortal world. Then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, in my previous ashram, Shankar Aranya was my brother, and Jagannath Mishra was my father.
Mahaprabhu then revealed that Jagannath Mishra and Sachi Mata are actually my parents to whose house you went and in Navadvip Dham. So Mahaprabhu revealed that how Sachi Mata served Madhavendra Puri and Sri Rangapuri so wonderfully that Sri Rangapuri remembered even till that day the taste of the sabjis that was cooked by Mother Shachi. This is the beautiful devotion of Jagannath Mishra and Sachi Devi, at whose home our wonderful Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu had made his divine appearance. So hearing like this and staying for a long time in Pandharpur, then Mahaprabhu came to his next destination. Next slide, please.
Next slide. From there, Lord Chaitanya came to Sūrpāraka. Sūrpāraka is about 26 miles north of Bombay. It's in the district of Thana, and there is a place called Sopara. This Sopara is Sūrpāraka actually in those days, and now it's called Sopara, and it's in the district of Thane in Mumbai. And this was the largest township, the Sopara or Sūrpāraka. At that time, it used to be the largest township on India's west coast. It would trade with Egypt, Mesopotamia, it would trade with Cochin and Arabia, Eastern Africa, all these places. In fact, Mahabharata and Puranas, they also state that Sūrpāraka was reclaimed from the sea for the dwelling place of Parshurama, and it became a place of pilgrimage because of this reason. In fact, in this region, the kingdom of Ashoka, Jainism, Buddhism, it flourished very much in this region. Here there is a very ancient temple of Chakreshwar Mahadev in Sūrpāraka, and Ram Mandir also nearby. Then it is also said Lord Chaitanya from Sūrpāraka, from Sopara, from Thane, Mumbai, he came to Babulnath Temple near Chowpatty. It's 2 minutes walk from ISKCON Chowpatty Temple, and we have heard that Lord Chaitanya also came to Sri Babulnath Temple. Next slide, please. This is the famous deity of Lord Babulnath. This temple was established in the 12th century, I believe. So, Sri Babulnath Mahadev ki jai. We pray that we may be able to serve the Vaishnavas with humility, tolerance, love, and respect, and perform our sadhana nicely. And please bless us so we may be able to preach to everyone for your pleasure. Hare Krishna. Next
Jai
slide.
Sri Babulnath ki jai.
Jai.
Then from Mumbai, from Sri Babulnath, Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu. Next slide, please. He came to Nasik, to Sri Trayambakeshwar temple. So Trayambakeshwar is an ancient temple in the town of Trimbak in the Nasik district of Maharashtra. And it is 28 kilometers from Nasik. It is dedicated to Lord Shiva, and it is actually one of the 12 Jyotirlinga temples in India. Next slide, please. This is a very, very beautiful temple, very ancient temple, and you can see the beauty of the hills, and on one side there is the river Godavari that is flowing. So it's a very, very beautiful temple. Next slide, please. So Mahaprabhu visited here. This is the deity of Sri Trayambakeshwara. So let us offer our obeisances to Param Vaishnav Sri Shiva Shambhu Trayambakeshwar Ji, that please allow us to serve, continue to serve Srila Prabhupada, and please, the spiritual masters, please allow us to serve. And then Mahaprabhu, after taking darshan, he also took a bath at the river Godavari. Next slide, please. Which is right at the banks, the temple of Trayambakeshwar is right on the banks of the river Godavari.
And this Trayambakeshwar temple, I believe I visited in 96. And there they do lots of karma kanda and shraddha to the pitris.
Ancestors.
And this is like a town of all these different brahmanas. And in between this Trayambakeshwar temple is a huge pond. And 2:30 a.m. in the morning, if you want to go there and perform these karma kanda rituals and things like that, you have to stay there overnight, because you have to wake up at 2:30 and go with your Brahmana Panda and take bath in that pond, cold water pond, 2:30 a.m. in the morning. And then the rituals start, go on for 7-8 hours, all the way till the afternoon. I still remember the taste of the wonderful prasad that's there. But yeah, it's like very pious, wonderful township, dedicated to all karmakanda rituals. There will be 100 families who will be sitting together and performing the shraddha. They'll have, each of them will have their own yajna kunda, own brahmana who will be actually doing it. So they have all these different arrangements, and the brahmanas, they subsist based on all these karma kandas that they perform for different pilgrims here.
Haribol. So Lord Chaitanya visited here in Nasik to this Trayambakeshwar temple. So next slide, please. So this was the route that Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu took today. We came from Gokarna to Kolhapur to Pandharpur, then to Mumbai, and then finally to Nasik, to Trayambakeshwar temple.
And then tomorrow we will see how Lord Chaitanya goes to Dwarka. Next slide, please. So today we went to Pancapsara Tirtha, went to Gokarna, Dvaipayani, then we went to Kolhapur, then to Pandharpur, Sūrpāraka, which is Thane, Mumbai, Sopara, and then to Trayambakeshwar Temple in Nasik, and followed in the footsteps of Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu ki jai. Okay, we will end here, and we'll have some kirtan.
So today, in honor of Sri Panduranga Vithala, we thought we can chant the Mahamantra. So we can end the slideshow here.
Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale
Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Maja Vithala Vithala Vithala
Maja Vithala Vithala Vithala
Vithala Vithala Vithala
Maja Vithala Vithala Vithala
Vithala Panduranga
Maja Vithala Panduranga
Vithala Panduranga
Maja Vithala Panduranga
Vithala Vithala
Maja Vithala Vithala Vithala
Vithala Panduranga
Maja Vithala Panduranga
Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare
Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Rama Hare Hare.
Krishna Krishna Hare Rama Hare Vithala Maja Vithala
Jai Srila Prabhupada Ki
Jai.
Srila Gurudev Ki.
Jai. Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna. Thank you for participating in the Kirtan. Now let's open the lines and we can open for questions and comments.
Hare Krishna. Tulsi?
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna?
Yes, Tulsi or Madhu or Kirti.
Kirti, either of you. Please.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, beta.
So, I have one question and I have so many comments. So, I want to tell you why the Shiva body was not visible full.
No, what's that?
Why was?
Why was what?
I'm telling that why Shiva, Lord Shiva's body was not visible full.
His only
Oh.
head was there.
Lord Shiva's body is not visible full because
Why?
when we have the Shiva Linga, in the Shiva Linga, they generally always put the the face of Lord Shiva. That's why. That's generally how it is done.
And when Lord Shiva was face was with white color.
White, why not black?
Oh, that's just the way.
Silver. Yeah, that was the
No.
silver.
That was a silver deity, beta. You saw in Babulnath how he's having gold color. So sometimes he has gold color, sometimes he has white color, sometimes he's black color, different colors.
Traditionally, you are right. He is black, Shivalinga. But sometimes there are different colors as well.
And sometimes he has Krishna's color, Madhava's color.
Yes. And you said you have what, more comments?
Yes, and I have that Pundalik, and I like that Pundalik was doing save of his mother and father, and I also like that he said to Lord Krishna that you please be patient for 2 minutes. I will do seva and then I will come and open. And I also like that Pandharpur when in the ashram and tell that you don't know Kashi, and then I also like that the three holy water was sprinkling water in the ashram and cleaning, and I also like your beautiful bhajan.
Oh, thank you, beta. Thank you so much, Tulasi. Thank you. Hare Krishna. Thank you, beta. Kirti.
Hare Krishna Mataji Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada, Guru and Gauranga. I really liked today's class. One of my favorite places were Pandharpur, where Lord Vittala is there. I think he looks really cute. So I really like the place. So I have 2 questions today. So one question is so Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is going to like Pandharpur and
Sri Rangam and all those places he's going, and the deities have been there for so long that maybe to keep the deities like still like new and fresh, so they repaint the deities and to do all the things to the deities. Will the deities still be considered the original deities? Because if Chaitanya Mahaprabhu touched the deity and they do all the painting and everything, will it be still considered as the original deity?
Yes, even if they're painted. Painted means, like Jalanivas Prabhu once said, painting is like makeup. So Angarag, it's traditionally called Angarag, so that doesn't really change the deity. It just is, like touch up, makeup, like touch ups done to the deity. So that doesn't affect the originality of the deity.
And this deity of Vithala is self-manifested. So he didn't manifest in his own self with all the makeup, but devotees performed that makeup. But he's still the self-manifested Lord.
I have one more question. I have a question about Vyasadev. So Vyasadev wrote Srimad Bhagavatam.
Mm-hmm.
And in actually, I think about 2 days ago when I was reading a shloka in Srimad Bhagavatam, I saw it and it said Vyasa Uvacha. So why is it saying Vyasa Uvacha? Vyasa's writing his own name. Why can't he say my Uvacha? Why does he need to put Vyasa Uvacha and he needs to put like his own name into the Srimad Bhagavatam?
If he says I Uvacha, rather
Aham Uvacha.
Aham Uvacha.
So, are you saying Srimad Bhagavatam were the first few chapters?
Yes, Prabhuji. When I was reading Srimad Bhagavatam, I saw it saying Vyasa Uvacha. That's why I wondered.
Yeah, I also wondered the same thing, that why Vyasadeva is writing in third person to himself. It is similar to how Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita, he says in the first 6 chapters, he does not refer to himself as in the first person, that surrender to me or do this for me. He said, do this for that supreme absolute truth. You should worship that supreme absolute truth. It is the same hymn, but in the first 6 chapters, he's bringing Arjuna to a level where he can slowly develop faith. And then from 7th chapter onwards, he starts referring in the first person, me, aham. That absolute truth that I was telling in third person all the time, by the way, that's me. From 7th chapter onwards, he says that. So it's possible, Vyasadeva to, out of humility, he's referring to himself in the third person. Many personalities do that. Even if you see many poetries that are written, in the end, like Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he would write poetries and he would write his own name. That, in Gopinath, he said, Thako Bhakti Vinoda, meaning Thakilo. What's that? Bhakti Vinod Thakilo Boshi. Meaning Bhakti Vinod is just sitting and all these different asuras are getting liberated. So all the poets, they write their name like as their signature, but also refer to themselves in third person. So that could be one of the reasons that Srila Vyasadeva referred to himself in third person.
And also one other reason is that, for later generations, like if he just says aham, that I'm speaking this, in later generations, it can get concocted. It can get concocted by saying that, oh, this aham is referring to me, or, whoever, some unscrupulous people, they can come and take advantage of that. So therefore, to avoid any kind of contradiction, Srila Vyasadeva is directly saying, I'm saying this, so it's Vyasa Uvacha, so like that. So hope this answers your questions, Beta.
Thank you, Mataji, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Happy Ekadashi.
Happy Ekadashi. Hari Bol.
Garima.
Garima. Yes, Garima.
Hare Krishna, Mataji and Prabhuji, then what pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada and Gurudev. I really love where we went, like so many pastimes and so many places. And I've never went to South India, and I don't even know these places.
Are you
So
liking?
I love them a lot. Even the pastimes are like kind of funny. So I have one question.
Yeah.
Which I think my mom doesn't know. Like, the four Kumaras cursed the two.
Jai
Like,
Vijay.
yeah, Vijay, to become demons for 4 times. So I know they became like Ravan and Shishupal and more than like why it's hidden in the Bhagavatam that they became Jaga and Madai.
Because even Lord Chaitanya is hidden. Lord Chaitanya, he is Channa Avatar. He is the hidden incarnation. He is very, very hidden because Lord Chaitanya is coming as a devotee. So actually, Jai Vijay were cursed by the Kumaras that they'll come only for 3 births. First as Hiranyaksha, Hiranyakashipu, then as Ravan and Kumbhakarna, and third as Dantavakra and Shishupala. So they were the only 3 births. But then they said, oh, Gauranga Mahaprabhu is coming. Krishna is coming himself, so we will also come. So Jai Vijay chose to come the 4th time. They were not cursed for the 4th time, but they were just cursed 3 times that they should take birth as demons. So, but they chose to come the 4th time again to participate in Gauranga Mahaprabhu's pastimes. So because the Leela in itself is so hidden, that's why in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, in the Bhagavatam, it is not revealed openly. But in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, which is the PhD level, Bhagavatam is university level. And then in the Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, which is PhD level, there it is declared boldly that Jai Vijay are none other than, Jagai and Mathai came 4th time out of their own choice to participate in Gauranga Mahaprabhu's Leela. Does that answer your question, Beta?
Yeah, and I have another question that, we read, like I'm reading Bhagavatam. So, like, why should we give Bhagavad Gita to others? Because they will not understand it properly, and like they will not understand it properly, and some words they don't understand. So why should we give them out Bhakti Yoga, Gyan Yoga, and Tuma Yogas? Yeah. So why should we give to them? Because they will not know.
Okay.
Why should we give Bhagavad Gita to them?
The knowledge of the Gita.
Well, you can give the small books of Srila Prabhupada. The small books of Srila Prabhupada, like, Path to Perfection, Yoga, Perfection of Yoga. There are so many other, that's why Srila Prabhupada wrote these small books. So that slowly we can give them, that people can read it, digest, but the essence of Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam are still there, but it's presented by Srila Prabhupada in such a way that it can attract people to now say, hey, this isn't Bhagavad Gita, let me go read Bhagavad Gita. And so that is one of the reasons that we can read the small books of Srila Prabhupada as well, Science of Self-Realization and all of that. It presents Bhagavad Gita in the modern context.
Hope that answers your question, Beta.
I think your screen froze maybe.
Thank you very much for your question. Next, Anjali.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Dandavat Pranam.
Dandavat pranam.
As usual, so divine, so beautiful. Actually, we don't know so many places also, and we just come to know and we say, okay. In fact, I wish I could have gone to Gokarna and done the darshan, though I visited Manipal so often. But nevertheless, now we will just go and visit it. And so many roops and so many avatars of the Lord, when we see, it is so amazing, like, how he glorified his devotees. And so it also teaches us such a big lesson that we should also glorify each other. Today, actually, I had read in Bhagavad Gita one of the verses, and like my guru also, who teaches me Bhagavad Gita, and she explains also. So I just wanted to understand in a better understanding. I have seen, like, when I see Garima, Tulsi at such young age, they just so connected with all this spiritual path, and they ask so many questions. And I see that people, the small girls also over here, they know the shlokas so well versed at the age of 3, 4, and they're playing Antakshari on them. Just my small thing, yeah, the ma'am tells us, you just give them one letter like pa, fa, and they just go on. And it amazes me, like, so I just want, like, how come it does happen, like, at such young age, so much of devotion, so much of this. I just, like, it makes me speechless, and it just makes me pure, like, this is like, sometimes I think, oh, this is magic, how they can just do it at the age of, even I have seen somebody at the age of 2.5 also.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to ask you how this is possible.
In Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna asked Krishna a question that if I perform this bhakti yoga that you're telling about, buddhi yoga, and then if I'm for that, I may have to give up a lot of material pleasures and things like that. But if I'm not successful, then I'm neither here nor there. I left all these pleasures so that I can achieve the transcendental pleasure of bhakti, and now I'm not successful there also. So then, what is my situation then? So Krishna told that Shrimatam Sumatam Gehe Yogo Bhrashto Vijayate. Shuchinam Shrimatam Gehe. Shuchinam Shrimatam Gehe Yogo Bhrashto Vijayate. Which means those who are yoga bhrashta, those who have they were performing the path of yoga, bhakti yoga, and then they couldn't complete it. They take birth in Shuchinam Shrimatam Gehe, in pious homes, and Shuchinam. And Shrimatam is in rich families, so that they don't have to worry about basic living conditions and things like that, and they can focus totally on spiritual life. And if we, for Krishna consciousness or spiritual life, if we have progressed 2% in one life, next life we start from 2%. If we progress 10%, next life we start from 10%. It is not like if someone becomes a PhD and then he gives up his body, next life he has to start from ABCD. No one will say, oh yeah, previous life was a PhD, now let's start from PhD. No. But for spiritual life, for spiritual things, when we chant, the spiritual advancement that we get due to chanting and associating with devotees, reading scriptures, that spiritual advancement is eternal. Whatever progress we have made so far will remain. And next life, we will start from there. So some of these devotees we are seeing them, their devotion in this life, but actually they are continuing from previous life.
Yes.
And when we see that, then we understand, oh, I mean, how can someone have this kind of a devotion at this point? Because they're continuing from previous life. And that's why they have taken birth in the homes of devotees, probably, to complete their spiritual path, and whatever advancement they had made. Now Krishna gave them birth in a devotee family where their devotion will be nurtured from childhood because of their past advancement in spiritual life. It's continuing now. Krishna is protecting that.
It's so wonderful. Yes, I think so. Ma'am also gave me this reason only. But and just a connection. So now this becomes like when they just go ahead. So this is their last path, or what? Or it just depends on Krishna or whatever it's saying. Or on
Yeah,
our.
all of the above. Because it's possible we may be given all the facilities. We are using it, but maybe in between we may get distracted, and then Krishna will bring us back. But if we go, if we, Prabhupada said, if we chant 16 rounds, follow 4 regulative principles, serve devotees and preach, then we will go back home, back to Godhead. So because he has said, Krishna will make sure this happens. So in one lifetime it is possible, but we have to show our sincerity and eagerness to demonstrate to Krishna that we want to come back to him. Because if we, Krishna will test us. You said that you want to come back, and he'll test us. Do you really now also, do you want to come back? Now also,
Really,
do you
really?
want to come back? Really? And when he is satisfied that you really, in spite of all these things, your focus has not wavered, and you really want to come back, then Krishna will take. Because Krishna wants us to come back, but he doesn't want us to come back without our will. Because all our devotees and friends are saying, yeah, we should go back to Krishna, we should go back. So we are also saying, yeah, I'll go back. But Krishna wants to really test. Do you really want to? And he'll give lots of tests. That's why we need association of devotees. So we can help each other in passing those tests. And the solution to that test is always the same. The question paper is different, but the answer is always the same, is surrender to Krishna with love, devotion, and continue our sadhana, continue our preaching, whatever be the condition, whatever be the situation, and be always grateful. And in this way, even if things that happen that we don't like, we still are grateful to Krishna, then our devotion will increase more and more, our desire will increase more and more, we'll be able to demonstrate to Krishna we really want it. Krishna is convinced, he'll take us.
Please pray for us. All the mercies to the thing. Thank you. Hari Bol.
Thank you, Anjali. Thank you so much. We're so grateful to you for your association. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare
Mataji, you both of you doing very nice, good job, good seva to the devotee community. And I learned a lot of. I enjoy today. You talk about Mahalakshmi Temple.
Yes.
I remember 1 year I went with Bhakti Rasamrut Maharaj, South India Yatra.
Yes.
So we went to the Tirupati, and Maharaj said, look at the opulence of Narayan in Tirupati. Then he said, I remember he said, same way, if you go to the Mahalakshmi, you see that Radharani, is there. He said, Radharani is there, Maharaj said that way. So that's the opulence, you see. So he gave one example that 15, 20 years back, the railway, one train started from Kolhapur to Tirupati. So then he said there was a contest. What's the name of the train they can give, So it was really surprise. And one devotee Mataji, she picked the name and she sent what she feels the name of the train, and she became a winner on that name, And the name of the train is called Hari Priya Express.
Hari Priya Express.
Hari Priya Express.
Yeah.
And still that train is running from Kolhapur to Tirupati.
Yeah. Both of them are.
It's very nice, Hari Priya Express, Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that. That's so wonderful. Wonderful tidbit. Thank you for sharing, and thank you for your blessings. We are very, you are very senior to us, and as a devotee, and you know so many things.
I remember both of you used to come to the Washington couple of years.
Yes,
right?
yes.
when
Yes.
Maharaj was here.
Yes.
You came, I remember, yeah.
Yes.
Uh,
Yes.
yeah. What year that one was? In maybe 5 years back?
I think
2015. Yes.
yeah,
15, yeah, right, yeah.
Bhakti Center came.
Mhm. Yeah, I remember, yeah. And that time, who got initiation? A couple of devotees got initiation when Maharaj was here, or no?
Maybe I don't remember very clearly.
Mhm.
Was it in? I know September 2015 we did go there. There was the Boston.
Mhm.
From Boston we came to New York like that.
Right. Yeah, but it was nice, you know. Now on the Kartik, we are going to start from the 38th or 31st, or what day we are going to start on Kartik Parikrama?
we will
Vrindavan
be
Parikrama.
starting on Friday. On Friday, from
Uh-huh.
Friday onwards, we'll start.
Friday
Okay.
US time, which means Saturday India time.
Right. Friday, today is Ekadasi, so Friday is first day of Kartik.
Yes.
Is okay, yeah, that's good. Yeah,
Thank
it's
you
good
so
for
much
us.
for your
Thank
association.
you very much. Thank you. Really, I enjoy. Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Thank you.
Hare
Thank
Krishna.
you so much.
All glory to Prabhupada. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
sorry. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Any questions or comments? Any more?
Thank you,
If
Aji.
not, yes.
Aji Karachudha Mataji and Ajot Chandra Prabhu. Koti Koti Danvat Pranam. Srila Prabhupada, Srila Gurudev ki jai. No words to your sincere seva. We feel the each and every yatra part. Hare Krishna. Hari Hari Gauranga.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Mataji.
Thank you,
Thank you
Mataji.
so much. We are very grateful to you. Thank you so much. So we request all of you to please join us tomorrow again in continuation of Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu's South India Yatra. And please stay tuned that this Friday we are starting Kartik. So as the video and the WhatsApp group link has been sent out. So for those of the devotees who are already part of Bhakti Mellows 1, Bhakti Mellows 2, Bhakti Mellows 3, or Bhakti Mellows 4, please do not join the Bhakti Mellows 5 because the same messages will be posted there. This is for any new members. If they want to join, they will join the Bhakti Mellows 5 group. So, but this is Vrindavan. We will be starting our virtual yatra of the 84 kroshas of Sri Vrajamandal Dham from Friday onwards. And we will also be starting the home programs, the virtual home programs. The calendar will be sent out to you latest by tomorrow. So please fill out your time slots and, let us, just like how we did in Purushottam month, we want to come and serve all of you. So please allow us to serve you by the way of these home programs. So please book a slot and reserve a slot once the calendar is sent out. Thank you all so much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. One thing just came on my mind.
Hare Krishna.
Today is Ekadasi, and I was thinking about Radharaman Maharaj.
Yes.
And he called me,
Oh,
and,
wow.
right. So today, this time is in India, Ekadasi is tomorrow, like a Tuesday. But it's already morning, in India. So Maharaj doing Vrindavan Parikrama. Ekadasi, So he said, I was thinking about you and let me call Pradyumna that I'm doing Vrindavan Parikrama. I said, Maharaj, and then he saw me the Parikrama Marg, Maharaj was walking and we were talking and he saw me look here, this side and this side. I said, thank you very much, Maharaj. I got chance to do the Parikrama with you today, Yeah, little Parikrama I did.
Thank you for sharing that with us. By your mercy, we also got that same mercy.
No, Mataji, you are doing great service than me, I'm learning a lot from you guys, So this is all glory to Prabhupada, all glory to Guru Maharaj and everybody. Hare Krishna.
Thank
Hare
you.
Krishna.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna.
We were very fortunate to do the Vrajmandal Parikrama last year with Radharaman Maharaj, and Kalasuda did in 2016 as well. So thank you for that remembrance.
Yeah.
And we'll be continuing.
I used to go every year Vrindavan. Since 98, every year I go Vrindavan. This year I'm over here,
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. Otherwise, I generally go in Vrindavan for Kartik and then take time to go to the Mayapur and Jagannath Puri. Yeah. So that's every year I used to do. By all Radha Damodar mercy, you know, we have a deity. We are serving Radha Damodar here at home.
Jai.
Right. Tomorrow I will show you my Radha Damodar. You know. Yeah. Right now he is taking rest. That's right. Yeah.
Sure.
Okay.
Thank you
Hare
very
Krishna.
much.
Hare
Hare
Hare Krishna. Jai Radha.
Vatshakalpatarubhyascha
Kripasindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo namo namah.
Anantakoti Vaishnava.
Ki
Jai.
jai.
Srila Prabhupada
Prabhupada
ki
ki
Jai.
jai. Jai.